Welcome to Intuitive Transformations with your host, Sylvia Henderson, and discover tools, wisdom, and inspiration that will empower you to transform your life. Sylvia is an intuitive life coach and energy healer with a growing practice that is focused on empowering others to be more of who they want to be. For the next hour, join Sylvia and explore and unravel anything in the way of you creating the life that you would love to live on the Om Times Radio Network.
Hello and welcome to the Intuitive Transformations radio show on the Om Times Radio Network, the voice of consciousness. I'm Sylvia Henderson, your host, and I'm broadcasting live from Kirkland, Washington, right here in the Pacific Northwest, located just minutes away from Seattle. To find out more about me and what I do, please be sure to visit my website at intuitivetransformations.net. That's intuitivetransformations.net. And from there, you can send me an email, you can sign up for my newsletter, or you can even book a private transformational session with me. And I want you to know that I'm also launching a holiday special starting this week, and it's going to carry through into most of December. And this is a buy one, get one free special. So when you purchase one individual 1 hour private session for yourself, you will receive the gift of a gift certificate that you can then give to someone special in your life for them to experience a 1 hour private transformational session. And they can use it anytime within 12 months. So that'll be active until December of the following year. It really just doesn't get much better than that, I don't think. And I want you to know, too, that starting tomorrow, today's show will be available as a podcast so that you can share this show with your family, your friends, your social media community. All you have to do is just go to podcast.omtimes.com. That's podcast.omtimes.com. And this is where you will be able to find not only this show, but all of my previous shows as well. And you can also download a copy of this show onto your computer or your mobile device. And this way you can listen to the replay of this show whenever you'd like, as often as you can, and make it really convenient for you. So, another show. And before I bring on my very special guest, I want to invite each one of you listening to close your eyes and just take a moment to center into your heart space. I want you to focus on your heart chakra, which is located right in the middle of your chest at the same level as your physical heart. And I want you to, with your eyes closed, just take a nice, deep, long breath in and hold it at the top for just a moment. And then allow yourself to just very slowly release and exhale that breath. And I want you to do this again. I want you to take another nice, deep, long inhalation, breathe it in, hold it at the top for just a moment. And then again, allow yourself to just slowly release and let it go. And so now just go ahead and allow your rate of respiration to return to your normal pace of inhalation and exhalations. And the reason that I just invited you all to just take that time to center into your heart and take some nice deep inhalations and exhalations is because, as many of you know, today's show is airing live, and we're in the midst of an aftermath of some events that have happened where many individual souls have suddenly transitioned into non-physical forms in very unexpected ways. And I'm not just talking about the many lives that were lost just a few days ago, tragically and violently in Paris. I'm also talking about lives that have been lost tragically and violently really around the globe. We've had violence in Beirut and Syria, in Baghdad and Lebanon and Nigeria, and earthquakes in Mexico and Japan. And, you know, it's a lot to experience such a massive exodus for us on a conscious level when we're all glued to our media and our TV sets, and there's such a palpable vibration of fear that everybody's experiencing. And so just taking that time to be mindful of your breath and focusing in your heart will help you to discharge some of that energy. Because really, what's going on right now, it transcends nationality. This is not about race or religion or sex or creed or color, because the bottom line is that we really are all one. We are all humanity. We're all human beings. And what we are witnessing right now, I believe, is evidence that consciousness is in the midst of a major transition. And what I mean by that is that we are literally at a tipping point. And what I mean by that is a tipping point where we have choice. And we have a choice between choosing love or choosing fear. And it's become such an obvious choice that we must make one or the other, because there really is no longer any middle ground. And so we can either choose absolute truth, which is always centered in the highest vibration of ever-expanding radiant love, or we can choose fear and hatred, which are illusionary mindsets that are trying to convince us that love is not a possibility. And I want you all to know that love is always an option, no matter what is going on. And I don't believe that there's any accident that I'm having Belinda J. Womack on my show today, because Belinda, who I believe is an angel herself, actually channels the 12 archangels, who I know have a message of hope and healing and light and love for every one of us, which will allow us to see on a much deeper level the value of unconditional love and forgiveness. Regardless of what's going on in your life or where you are in life or the circumstances that you're seeing in the world today, it is really my intention that this show will not only remind you that we have unseen assistance, guidance, and support, but also prove that the gift of love and forgiveness is always an accessible option. So before I bring Belinda on the show, let me tell you a little bit more about her. Belinda J. Womack. She's a spiritual counselor who has been channeling angelic wisdom to support individuals, couples, and families for at least 25 years. She is the creator of the 12 Archangels University, which is an online change your everyday reality to heaven on earth educational platform. Belinda is a scientist by training with dual master's degrees, one in microbiology and one in environmental science. She is the author of Lessons from the 12 Archangels, Divine Intervention in Daily Life, which was published this year. Belinda is a regular contributor to Times Magazine, and she resides in Freeport, Maine. For more information about Belinda J. Womack, please visit her website, and that is Belinda Womack, and it's Belinda. Womack is WOMACK.com. That's BelindaWomack.com. Belinda, thank you for joining us, and welcome to the show.
Thank you, Sylvia. It's great to be here.
Oh, I am so thrilled to have you here. There really are no accidents in the universe, right?
No, there are no accidents in the universe.
No, not at all. First, I want to say that, you and your book is definitely a gift. It's something and that's why I'm really grateful to have you on the show today. And I'm excited to hear what you have to share and what the 12 Archangels are going to share with us today, because as you mentioned when we were preparing for the show, they actually just speak directly through you and take over when they feel it's their time to jump in. Is that correct?
That is correct. They have no difficulty in moving me aside and coming right through.
I love that. But before we have the archangels share their beautiful and loving wisdom, I want to ask you a few questions so that those in the listening audience who don't yet know about you, they can get to know more about who you are. So you started channeling angelic wisdom about 25 years ago. How did this all start for you? And what was the first message that the angels gave you?
Well, Sylvia, this feels almost like it was another lifetime ago now. But I was working in a laboratory at a medical university, and I was just working on a bone marrow sample, and I call it my out of laboratory experience. It was very much like I left the lab, and I found myself in a stone room that was quite large, and it was round, and there was a golden ray of light or energy that came in through the ceiling, and there wasn't actually a ceiling, so this energy or light just came through. And in that golden light, there appeared the Archangel Gabriel. And the reason I knew it was Gabriel is because the angel had a trumpet, and I remembered Gabriel shows up with a trumpet. And to make sure that I knew it was an angel, it had all the wings and beautiful gown and the trumpet. And Gabriel sent a message straight into my mind that said, Belinda, we have new work for you to do. We've come to give you this call, and you're going to help humanity to rewrite the story of their childhoods and to remember that they are God's divine children. And I said, Gabriel, because we're just communicating telepathically. I said, I believe you've called the wrong person. I really have no idea what's going on here. I'm a biologist, and I was really trying to talk my way out of it. I said, I spent a long time in graduate school, and I don't have the expertise that you need. This sounds like I need a degree in psychology. And Gabriel said, well, what you need to know is in the book to the left.
Wow. Okay, so we are getting ready to go right into a break. Please stay tuned, because when we return, Belinda is going to continue her story where she left off, with Gabriel telling her that she has a new mission in front of her. So stay tuned. You don't want to miss this. This is going to be really good. We'll be back in a moment.
The best of holistic, spiritual, and conscious world. Om Times Radio. IOM FM. Host your show on IOM FM, the radio network of Om Times Media, one of the more recognized brand names in the conscious community, and is backed by the extensive marketing reach of Om Times. Hosting a show on IOM FM immediately connects you with our extensive dedicated community. Join Elliot Jollish, the business therapist, each Tuesday at 5 p.m. Eastern for the Elliot Jollish Hour, as he interviews business experts on your behalf. And you're invited to email your business questions to questions@ecjgroup.com for answers, live, on air every Tuesday at 5 p.m. Eastern on the Elliot Jollish Hour.
Hi, this is Sylvia Henderson, intuitive life coach and energy healer. Are you ready to elevate and rise way above your normal? Be sure to listen to my show, Intuitive Transformations, on Om Times Radio, Sunday evenings at 9 p.m. Eastern. Get the inspiration you need to transform your life.
The number one reason girls drop out of school in sub-Saharan Africa is lack of access to feminine hygiene products. The Pads for Schoolgirls Project, an outreach of Humanity Healing International, is changing this paradigm by setting up sewing programs at schools, teaching girls a vocational skill, while producing the reusable pads that help keep them attending classes. The girls pay it forward by making and giving pad kits to other girls in need. To learn more, visit humanityhealing.org. Humanity Healing is where your heart is. A conscious lifestyle for a mindful life. Om Times Radio. IOM FM.
This is Sylvia Henderson, and I have with me Belinda Womack. And Belinda, before we went into the break, you were just sharing about your first encounter with the angels and how it was Gabriel who came forward, and you knew it was him because he had the horn and he had the whole total stereotypical angel look going on there. And he told you that you were going to start helping humanity heal their inner child, correct?
Well, to rewrite the story of their
To
childhood. So
re
pretty close.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then you were kind of like, well, you got the wrong person here. I'm a scientist. I don't know about this. And he said, look to your left, that there was a book to your left. And I think that's where we left off.
That is where we left off. So this book was at least 3 feet wide and about a foot deep, and I was very intimidated. I was, oh my goodness, so you're telling me I have new work to do and I need to learn everything in this book. And then, Sylvia, the book opened up, and in beautiful scarlet red letters was the word love. And the word was alive, and it was beautiful. And I said, okay, I can love. And I can learn to love. And then the next thing that happened is Gabriel said, we will be in touch. And so then I was back in the lab, and I was still holding my sample, and I really felt like I had been away for hours. And I looked at my watch, and not 1 minute had gone by. And that was my first meeting.
So what kind of things are going on through your head? I mean, were you like questioning, did this really happen? I mean, especially with the time being frozen in our reality.
I thought I must have gone wackadoodle.
I bet.
Yeah. And my whole body was shaking. So I was, what just happened to me? And my next meeting was with Archangel Michael, and then I just kept receiving these little messages. And I think my favorite one that I don't share very often is, you can try and resist us, but we are drafting you. This is your soul signed up for this, Belinda. And I was like, really? Really? So it took me a few months. I definitely did try to resist, but it was all love, right? I can't say that the 12 archangels used force, because they only work with love. But I did surrender. And it took me a few months of floundering to realize, okay, the way I move forward in service with the angels is I listen and I trust and I serve. And that has been my life for 25 years.
That is so beautiful. So during this time, you said you kind of waffled or struggled a little bit. It was a transition for you over
Sure.
several months. So how much longer after that first encounter was it before you started actually rewriting someone's childhood? Or
It was about, let's see, from when I left my post as a scientist, it was about 7 months, I would say. And I was instructed to teach a little class, which I did. I had channeled some material from the angels and a few of the masters in heaven, and I just did what I was told, and because I really had no clue what I was supposed to do until I learned to listen. That was my first step. And then out of that small class that I taught, one of the participants called and said, I'm having, a difficult time with my work. She owned her own company, and I said, well, do you want me to help you with that? Shocked. Like, I was so shocked that those words came out of my mouth. And so she called for a session, and her guardian angel's name, I will never forget this, came through as, my name is Easy Road. And I'm going to, help you do this work that you need to do. And so then after that, that was my very first client that I worked with. And they just started to show up. I still don't know. I mean, you're in this profession. You know what it's like to work for spirit. Sometimes you don't know how people find you, but they seem to find us.
yeah,
And that's just the calling. And it's really about my joy and my passion is to help people with their most difficult challenges and blocks and problems, because that's what the 12 archangels, they work as this group to help us here on the great school room earth, as they call it. And they say this is a school of hard knocks where it's not so easy for the ego, which was created to feel separate from Mother, Father, God, to believe in love. The ego is wired to believe in fear. And so, yes, we create some pretty good lessons for ourselves, but the way through is always, it always has choose love in it, and let the love in where the love has been missing. That's also a very important component.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you there. I mean, that is huge. That and the surrendering. I love how you said you surrendered. That's another big component too.
Well, surrender is a requirement if you excuse me, if you're going to work with the greatest power there is, which is the power of love. To just say the words I surrender calms that ego down. It calms that personality down so that we can hear, we can breathe. I loved in the beginning when you had us take those deep breaths. That's always so wonderful. And what goes with taking those deep breaths, it actually helps that ego to just settle in. Yes, I have a heart, which connects me to my higher self. Yes, I have a soul. I can relax now. I don't have to be so much in control. I can open and listen. And that's what helps to work with angels. They are very clever at moving the ego, getting it in a comfortable spot so that we can receive their help. And I like to make this absolutely clear for anyone who works with angels or is interested in working with angels. They really don't care if you believe in them, if you see them, if you hear them. They're there. They're going to help us no matter what, because that is their joy. When we surrender and we ask for help, that just makes it easier,
Mm.
because then the ego, the consciousness, can see the results. Wow, I asked for help and I received help. I think I could do that again.
And that's so affirming. And it just really bolsters your faith and your trust in the divine and allows you
Yes.
to surrender even more.
Yes, it's that process.
Hmm.
And it also very much helps us to step back into being in that innocent, childlike place of trust. So no matter what happened to us in childhood, there's still that part of us that is still a believing, trusting child. So, I like to describe myself as I'm a bit like a Labrador retriever, which just means that I have a very active little Belinda. And she is the way that I connect with the 12 archangels. From the very beginning, that's how I met all 12 of them. And that's what I teach, and that's what I encourage people to do, is that if you want to feel angels and you want to see them and you really want to hear their music and you want to dance with them in their world, then connect with that child that lives within you, because it is that happy, innocent, pure, the little child in us can see and hear and smell beyond this reality. And that's the way that we can really connect to not only the 12 archangels, which are the mentors of Schoolroom Earth, but all of the angels. They all work together to help us.
And all through that younger version of ourself, that inner child, which is why rewriting childhood is so powerful, because there's so many individuals on the planet who their little one of who they are is feeling discarded and not attended to.
And powerless.
And powerless, yes. And isn't that showing in a very palpable way in the planet right now?
You are so right on. Yes, yes, that's
Yeah.
that's very much what is a big part of the story, is that, the angels say, the little child within us must be heard. And the inner child, which is that wonderful combination of the divine child that has access to all of our helpers in heaven and our intuition and our creativity and our faith. Well, that inner child is also our wounded child. And the wounded child is the doorway to that deep subconscious where those memories are stored, whether they're from our ancestry or past lives or from our own childhood. And as we just love that inner child and we listen, it's so much about listening, and that child does speak. The child will speak directly through our thoughts and through action, which again we are seeing on this planet. That as we listen and we heal what needs to be healed by owning it and by bringing love where love has been missing, we feel that incredible shift in our own being, and that makes a huge difference all across the planet. Because, as you said in your intro, we are all one. And right now on our planet, we have, what the angels say is we have two very significant things happening. One is we have the purging of the global subconscious beliefs that go centuries. They're centuries old. And that's why we are seeing the behavior, the mindset of some of the terrorists that are showing us what the mindset actually was centuries ago on our planet. And so it's actually being purged and coming up to the surface. So that part is actually a good thing. Now, of course, the way that is happening, the incredible, tremendous loss, none of us want that to happen because we all feel it. Even if, we don't live in Beirut, we don't live in Paris, we feel it.
We do. Because everything is vibrational, and we're all and we are one, and we're vibrationally connected as one human race. Well, when we return, we're going back into another break. When we return, we're going to continue this conversation with Belinda Womack. And there are two things that she mentioned. One, she's talked about already, and that's the purging. And so when we return, we're going to find out about that other component of what's happening.
Your conscious lifestyle on steroids. Om Times Radio. IOM FM. Host your show on IOM FM, the radio network of Om Times Media, one of the more recognized brand names in the conscious community, and is backed by the extensive marketing reach of Om Times. Hosting a show on IOM FM immediately connects you with our extensive dedicated community.
This is Terry Van Horn, and I want to invite you to join me for my weekly radio show, Hailing Light, on Om Times Radio every Wednesday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. On Hailing Light, we want to bring love, light, and blessings into your world. You can find out more about us at www.healinglightonline.com. Blessings.
Hello, I'm Miriam Knight of New Consciousness Review, inviting you to my new show where I interview the rising stars of the conscious awakening. We'll explore the many faces of consciousness and action and intriguing perspectives on life, the universe, and everything in between. Join us each Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern on the Rising Stars Show.
Om Times Magazine is one of the leading online content providers of positivity, wellness, and personal empowerment. A philanthropic organization, their net proceeds are funneled to support worldwide charity initiatives via Humanity Healing International. Through their commitment to creating community and providing conscious content, they aspire to uplift humanity on a global scale. Om Times, co-creating a more conscious lifestyle. Your conscious connection to a more mindful world. Om Times Radio. IOM FM.
happening right now on the planet. And the first one that you got a chance to elaborate on was that we are purging a mass amount of global subconscious beliefs that are centuries old, really old stuff. And that's what we're seeing with all of the anger and the rage and the hatred. Is that correct?
That is correct. And the oppression of the feminine and the disrespect for human life, that human life has no value. And so I just wanted to to say, as the angels explain in Lessons from the 12 Archangels, that here on Schoolroom Earth, we create our reality with our thoughts and our beliefs. And what we may not realize is that sometimes up to 90% of what we're using to create our reality from the inside out is locked in the subconscious. And a good portion of that is buried deep down in the cellular subconscious. Some people call that the unconscious, but I like to use deep subconscious. And so when we go very, very deep, we really reach those roots that we all have in common. And so that's where that global subconscious comes into play. And so we are, as a human family, as one human family, we are creating our reality that we are experiencing. And part of this is this violence that we see. So what can we do about it? And this is from the 12 archangels. So I'm just going to let them in to explain this.
Okay, beautiful.
Within every human being, there is a precious child of God. This precious child of God is covered with woundedness. The woundedness is actually separation, which is illusion, separation from your Creator, separation from your Divine Mother Father. This beautiful, wounded child that truly is divine has both a masculine and a feminine. The masculine wounded child is seeking to be heard. We ask that you understand that the masculine is action. He wants power. He wants acknowledgement. He wants to lead. The feminine wants to receive. She wants to heal. She wants to nurture. She wants to process. She wants to feel. So when this masculine and feminine gets out of balance, and it's out of balance all the way down into the child behaves like a child. And the child has temper tantrums. And the child goes into a rage. And the child is seeking to feel powerful. The wounded boy child that exists in every single human being, but that you are seeing play out in terrorism on your planet, on your schoolroom right now. He wants to belong. He wants to feel that he has power, that he has a purpose, that he can lead, that he is important. So we beseech you, go within. Go within, even though you may live thousands of miles from where the terrorists are active, and seek that wounded male child within you. Find him, acknowledge him, and release his rage. Give it back to the Creator, and bring love where love is missing. Hold him, love him. Invite your angels in to nurture this wounded male aspect of your own inner child. And acknowledge where you feel frustrated, where you feel angry, where you feel powerless. And voice your concerns to your Divine Mother, Father, and be heard. We cannot tell you enough how interconnected you are. And yes, you can create peace on earth. Begin from within. Begin within you. Love that angry wounded little boy and that hurt, frustrated, so sad, so lost little girl. And you will see miracles happen within you and all over your planet. And we thank you, we thank you, we thank you for listening to our message. We are the 12 Archangels of the Central Sun.
Wow, I could feel the vibration shift when that happened. That was powerful, Belinda. Thank you, 12 Archangels. That was what we all really needed to hear. Oh my gosh. Oh, that was amazing. It really, those are the questions. The 12 Archangels have answered the questions that I had for them, that I had drafted out. It's what's going on here, and you know, and that's what everyone's wondering right now. And I feel like that answer was just so beautifully unfolded just now. So I'm so grateful for that. So, Belinda, the book that you have written with the help of the 12 Archangels, which just kind of came through you from them, it's almost contrite for me to ask why now, but why now?
Well, Sylvia, their teaching is ancient, and at the same time, it's pertinent to what's happening on our planet and in our schoolroom right now. And their teaching is that, you know, humanity is deserving of God's love. We are God's children, and we're very brave. You know, they want us to understand that we're very brave. We come here to Schoolroom Earth, where we get to experience a very, 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 very convincing illusion called fear. And what comes from fear is that fear is the lowest vibration that there is. Love is the highest vibration. And so from fear, we create all kinds of things like guilt and loneliness and lack and suffering and illness. And you know, we take this on to feel it, you know, to get into the kind of into the mud pit of fear, so that we really feel it, and we feel that agony of what it's like when we separate from our Creator. And the truth is we can never exist outside of the heart of God. But oh my goodness, you know, can it feel like we are far, far away from love? And we can feel so abandoned. We can feel abandoned in our own, you know, biological or adopted families. And we are here to really experience how love is the greatest healing power. And that's where the angels come in. They see, you know, they're here to help us. The 12 archangels, they kind of like to keep their names incognito, because it's just because their names have been recorded in so many different languages over the ages. And the truth is that the number 12 is symbolic. It represents a cycle. We have 12 signs to the zodiac. We have 12 hours on a clock face. We have 12 months to the year. And we are evolving, going through our cycles of recognizing, wow, you know, I'm not happy. And that is the key of what we're here to actually acknowledge is, I'm not happy. And only love from the heart of God will fill us up. Everything else is just temporary. And so here we have this ego that loves instant gratification. And so even if we're given everything that ego thinks it's going to make it happy, it's still not happy. But you open Lessons from the 12 Archangels, and you just, wherever your eyes hit the page, and you read a few lines, and all of a sudden you just start to feel this incredible love fill your vessel. And it's like, oh my goodness, I do believe I'm happy.
I totally agree with you. I have been having such a wonderful time in this book, because the wisdom and the exercises are so powerful and so transformative. I mean, even from the very first one where you're imagining white light with flecks of gold and then sapphire light and then transitioning that into sky blue light and becoming one with all that is, that is a remarkable exercise to partake of. And there's one, I mean, there's so many in there. I don't know how long it took you to collect all of those, if they were just downloaded all at once, but there is just one after the other, and they're remarkable. Each one is unique and very powerful.
And they keep it simple. You know, the angels, they want us to feel the love. They're totally into feeling, and they're totally into love. And they want us to feel, right? To feel is to heal. So they keep their guided imagery exercises very simple so that, you know, we can enjoy them. And so that we can remember it's not complicated. Here are the basics of how this school runs. You create, or we, since I'm a human that's giving this little talk here, we create our reality from the inside out. We create our reality with the same energy that our Creator uses to create the universe. We use our thoughts, we use our emotion, and for us humans, we also use our memories and we use our beliefs. So all of that gets wound up and it gets fused together, and then we don't realize that, hey, we're the creators of our lives. We can just feel like we're victims of circumstance, and we can feel like we don't have any choices but to just suffer through it. So instead of living a life where we thrive and we're happy and we're really bringing heaven to earth, and heaven is a vibration. That's what the word means. It's a vibration where only love exists. And what comes with that is, of course, God's abundance and healing and joy.
That's exactly what it is, Belinda. That is exactly what it is. So we're going into one more break, and when we return, we'll be continuing this conversation with Belinda Womack, talking about her brand new book, Lessons from the 12 Archangels, Divine Intervention in Daily Life. Please stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few moments.
Free your mind. Expand your soul. Om Times Radio. IOM FM. Being a radio host on IOM FM allows you to build your show on a rich platform with the power of the internet to fulfill your outreach goals and connect with a very specialized and global online audience, unlimited by time and distance. Om Times Radio will provide you with web relevance, a recognizable conscious brand, and with the standard of excellence that has accompanied every single Om Times endeavor. Host your show with Om Times Radio Network.
The name is Bond. James Bond.
No, the name is Joe. The Joe Show. And we are returning back for our 9th season here on Om Times Radio. So tune in every Wednesday night, 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific, on omtimes.com/mobile. You can take us wherever you go. Yeah!
Join Elliot Jollish, the business therapist, each Tuesday at 5 p.m. Eastern for the Elliot Jollish Hour, as he interviews business experts on your behalf. And you're invited to email your business questions to questions@ecjgroup.com for answers, live, on air every Tuesday at 5 p.m. Eastern on the Elliot Jollish Hour. As difficult as it is to believe, there are places in Africa where human traffickers sell albino children and their body parts for use in magic rituals. Humanity Healing International is actively working in Uganda to change this paradigm. The Albino Rescue Project finds albino children who are at risk and places them in safe schools and environments where they can learn and grow free from fear. To learn more or to sponsor a child, visit humanityhealing.org. Humanity Healing is where your heart is. Bringing you the best of the conscious minds in the world. Om Times Radio, your conscious lifestyle on steroids.
Welcome back again. This is Intuitive Transformations Radio on Om Times Network, and this is Sylvia Henderson with Belinda Womack, and she has been sharing just this beautiful revelation and wisdom and guidance and insight and inspiration and even a vibration as the 12 angels came forward to share with us really what is going on the planet and what we as human beings need to heal within ourselves. I really want to encourage everyone to please visit Belinda's website. It's belindawomack.com, and that's BelindaWomack.com. And I highly encourage you to get her book, Lessons from the 12 Archangels, Divine Intervention in Daily Life. I just want to read this short sentence on the back because this really sums up what this book is all about. Each message awakens your innate spiritual power to rebuild destroyed self-esteem, lifting you higher in vibration and allowing life to be filled with the power of your own divinity. I think that really sums up really what this book is all about. And I tell you, I have personally had a session with Belinda. She is the real deal. When she says she can rewrite your childhood, she is not joking. That's really what her purpose is. And that's why the Archangels have given her this ability, this amazing mission in life to help us all heal. And this book is a way for her to reach out on a broader, wider, more global scale. So I would encourage you not only to get a copy for yourself, but, with the holiday season coming around, pick up one for someone that you love, especially if you know someone going through some challenging times right now. And that's probably just about everyone in your office or someone I'm sure in your family or at least a friend that you know. Because I tell you right now, as Belinda mentioned earlier in the show, we are processing a lot of subconscious stuff. And it is manifesting on a physical level at such an obvious state of manifestation with everything that's happened this year. We've seen so much anger and hatred and violence and what we would call senseless tragedy happen. And I tell you, it's because we have to heal from the inside in order to change what's going on outside in the world. So, Belinda, I can't believe that we are coming up on the end of the show. This is just flown by. And so for people who are highly sensitive, and I have to, as a representative of those that are empathic, it seems like we're getting hit a little harder with some of this subconscious, massive, old stuff that has not filtered through yet. Are we filtering it, those that are very empathic and sensitive and light workers, or is it just that we're feeling it more because we're more sensitive?
Well, what the angels say is that we are feeling it at a louder level because we know what to do about it. Again, we change what we are experiencing by changing what we think and what we believe. And so when we understand that so many of those beliefs are buried at such a level that it's very, very difficult to reach those beliefs, and the only way to reach them is to use our intuitive giftedness, to go through the wounded child, to allow our helpers in heaven and 12 archangels to help reveal what those deepest beliefs are. Well, sure, those of us who are healers and that are sensitive and that are open and willing, we're going to get the message that humanity needs help, because again, we are all one. So yes, to your question, Sylvia, yes, we are filters. Yes, we are healers. Yes, we are empathic, so we feel it, but truly everybody feels this. My husband and I went out for a quick dinner last night, and it was in everybody's energy fields. Here in Maine, you could just see this trauma in everybody's energy fields. And of course, They may not have consciously felt it, but I bet you there wasn't anyone on the planet that didn't feel a certain heaviness over these days. And that's the sorrow. And yes, we can change it. How do we do that? We do that with love. Love is a power. It's an energy. We can call it in through imagining the rainbow, which is, God's chakras. And the 12 archangels, they teach us how to work with those beautiful colors, to imagine them and bring them into our vessels and to fill ourselves with that powerful, powerful transforming love. And as we do that, we help every human being that is on this earth, has ever been on this earth, or ever will be on this earth. And that's how we can really welcome this shift in consciousness and the global choice to choose love and to bring peace within ourselves first. And of course, to focus our intention on filling our beautiful planet with peace and awareness. No matter what stupid things we may choose to do, we are God's children, and it is through forgiveness and love that we can restore our planet and our respect for one another.
That is so true. I just think about the Course in Miracles. It says, my only function in life is to forgive.
That's beautiful, and it's
Yeah.
true.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. When we release our judgments. But again, it is about going inward to that inner child. That inner child is definitely, as you said, the key, because that's where we've been storing all of our wounds and not dealing with them.
That's where we store it, for sure. And that's not only is that where we store it, but the inner child, which we can access just simply by taking a photograph of ourselves as a child, that will make the connection in our brains, that image, because the creative hemisphere works through imagery, and then everything is activated, and then we have that connection to that higher intuitive self as well as to that wounded subconscious. And so, yes, the inner child is the key. So is it the storage locker? Yes, but it's the key to open it all up. So again, I don't mean to sound like a broken record, but to bring love where love is missing. That's what it's about. And then that vibration shifts and our reality has to shift. It's a divine law. As within, so without. As above, so below. It's just the way it works
Absolutely.
here.
And I love how you said that, to bring love where love is missing. And that right now is what we need in this moment with everything that's going on in the media, where it's so obvious that love is missing. However, I have to say, I have seen some lovely sparks of love, and actually even some flames of love, where people are deciding to heal within their own wounds, because there are those who have now become aware that that is really what the process is all about.
And that's wonderful, because we're all in it together. We really are all little children trying to find our way together. And God loves all of us. And the 12 archangels are holding us together here in our school. And we are going to get through this transformation. That's their message to us. Oh, yes, you will get through your education. You will.
That's another big question I had, was, are we really going to make it? So thank you. I'm glad I wrote these questions out, and they must have read them ahead of time, because everything I had written down to ask them, you have answered. So, and then one last thing, because we only have a few more minutes, but, everyone was really excited about 2012 and that being the shift in consciousness. And is this really kind of where the veil became more thin, or where this process started? Or did it start long before? Or is it that it ramped up at that time? Or was it really that significant?
So, of course, it's it's significant. There are definite time points in Earth history. Even though time is an illusion, it's something that the angels created as a teaching tool for our school here on Schoolroom Earth. But there are definite times, and that was a big shift with Uranus square Pluto, which it did in 7 exact squares or placements, and that those powerful, and they are also, those are names for some of the archangels, the planets that guide us through our astrology, and those are planets of massive change, and it's time to wake up and it's time to transform. So Uranus says wake up, and Pluto is it's time to transform right now, and it may not be pretty. The last time Uranus and Pluto were opposite of each other was World War II.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. And there was also a big Wall Street also tumbled during one of those as well. Yeah. So, but that's what it takes sometimes. It's a wake-up call.
It's just a wake-up call, and it's just change.
It's just change.
Right? Crisis brings healing, right? We know that.
It does. Well, Belinda, we are coming to the end of the show, and I just want to thank you so much for being here. I want to thank the 12 archangels for chiming in and sharing such beautiful wisdom and healing energy. And I think that this is exactly what it needed to be, and that people will listen to this show over and over again, feel the vibration of the angels once again, and be reminded of what this really is all about. Don't forget to go to podcast.owntimes.com, download the show, share it with your friends, share it with your social media community. And I want to thank you all for joining me again this week. I'll be back again next week. Until we meet again, have a wonderful week. Be loved and know that you are loved. Bye-bye for now.